Welcome to For the Love of Making Books. 10 ways you can add words with or without lines to your journaling. So this is the first one, which doesn't require lines at all. Just cutouts from storybooks, novels. That's one out of Pride and Prejudice. Or you can cut them out of a greeting card. So that's just a napkin and a greeting card with some stamping on it. That's another one out of a book, but you can cut them out of magazines. Okay, another way you can add words to an art journal, this page has not really been done, is using circles. So I had some paint in the background, green and this pinky colour, and then I stuck down these punch out circles. So often, I think those are inch ones, you can punch them out, put then sewing pattern over the top, and each one of them became, well, I wasn't even thinking of the quote at the time because they looked like stepping stones, and I highlighted each one. I wrote those words: each step I take, I know that he will guide me. So you can use circles. So just excuse me here, trying to find each of the places. You can do it the traditional way where you just measure out your line, your page, draw a faint line and write it there. Okay, so you can rule a pencil line and then you can actually get rid of the pencil line then at the end. Okay, so let's try and find the next idea. This is using ribbon. So I had done a collage in the background, again, Pride and Prejudice for St. Elizabeth, mentioned here in Mr. Wickham. Had added some distress ink over the collage, and then I've added these strips of ribbon. I used actually an awl to poke it right in here, but I didn't do it too well there. So that was just a picture of a clock there. So you can use thread, like embroidery thread you could, and even the skinnier the thread probably the better. So you can get thread that size, but even the little ties, ribbons on your garments, your clothes when you buy them, you can get fancier ribbon as well. So thread, string, ribbon, and all I did was draw the pencil line, add a line of glue and just hold this down, basically just like that for a few seconds, and then it was down. Now you have to adjust some of your letters because your Y's aren't going to be able to go, but they look quite nice. Okay, this clip here, I've written down notes here. So these are quite imperfect lines, but I achieved that with a piece of packaging, and I just made it the same width as my StazOn ink. Now I'm going to need to find an empty page. Okay, and then you have to work quite quickly because StazOn dries quite quickly. And I just did it that size. You could do it the whole size of your journal page, but then it's going to dry maybe too quickly. Okay, and then the next one, you can see where the line is, so you can sort of judge. Probably would have been good to cut it quite straight. I haven't got a background on that, so I'll probably not use that, but okay, this one is the next one. So you can use stems of flowers. This was just an exercise of using a paintbrush to form, pressing down a paintbrush to form petals of flowers. I was just experimenting with it. And then as I drew in the white lines with a Jelly Roll pen, white pen, I started then using the lines for little quotes about flowers. Henry Matisse, They're always flowers for those who want to see them. Okay, so lots, I just googled flower quotes. You could also use bird's legs. Somewhere I have a bird's leg here, but I don't actually think I've written anything on the legs of the bird, but you could do that as well. So I don't want to waste time looking for a bird. It's probably in the other. If I see it, I will draw your attention to it. There it is there. It's not a finished piece here because this is cut out of a magazine, and a little jelly print folded over circle for the bird. I still need to probably put a quote or something there. So you can use stems of flowers or birds' legs. You can also use your paintbrush. So this was an exercise of just using a flat brush, probably a couple of centimeters there, and just taking a different colour and dragging it along, leaving a little gap in between. So it was just a mindless exercise there. And then when I'd finished, I thought, now what am I going to write on these? So again, you have to adjust your font if you're going to do that. And you might start quite wavy, but it does get flatter because of just the imperfections. So I have one there, I have a different one here with their wider lines. This is not a paintbrush, this is chalk pastel and then matte medium over the top to seal it. So that's a different font there, colouring in the open spaces. But again, you see you have to adjust your font. So you can use your paintbrush to do curved lines. Of course, you can write on scraps of paper and avoid ruling, measuring lines. So here's a collage background, jelly print scraps, and you just write on them with outlines, and then you just stick them down and make them as straight as you want, or not. So you can write on scraps. I think I have one on the back of this as well, where I just did a bubble outline, or cloud some people call that, and then you can just make it as straight as you want it to be. So just let me see, there's a silver clip here. Okay, so this was an exercise I did. I'll just show you it. Same sort of stem, but going from the light green to the darkest green. So just an exercise in forming stems, and tilted to the right, to the left, straight, right, left, straight. So just giving a bit of variety there to make it more natural. So what did I do? I used the edge of the page to write the quote from Charlotte Bronte. I must remember that perfection is not the lot of humanity, and as long as we can regard those we love and to whom we are closely allied with profound and never shaken esteem, it is a thing that we should, I can hardly read it, it is a small thing that they should vex us occasionally by what appear to be unreasonable and headstrong notions. There's somebody who was struggling with her short marriage. So you could check the date there, but I imagine that was her married life, January the 30th, 1846. Okay, so I think those are the 10 ways. I just have a little flick through them again. So that's the ruled one, the printed with the packaging. Did I say this one? Yeah, this is one of the paintbrush ones where, not paintbrush, where you just do, no, I didn't mention this one. So I'm not sure why I haven't mentioned that one. Just see what I've written down. Yeah, so you're doing abstract curved lines, and yes, you can, when it goes up you can follow the up, but you're going to have to vary it a little bit. So sometimes you can write in the spaces as well. If you do this technique of just drawing the lines, creating spaces, I chose to do an exercise with lines, watercolor lines, moving through the colors of the rainbow, and then continuing with more neutral colors at the bottom, and the lines became a space to write on. But you can actually write in the spaces, and I thought I had clipped where I had that, but evidently. So it's a bit like that one there, where you're doing the same sort of idea, but instead of putting bands of colour down, you're doing the lines first and then writing in the lines. Of course it can be on a background. It's actually one of the easiest. I do have this something written in this. So much for all these clips. Yeah, there's another way of doing it there. It's one of my favourite ways of writing, because you just make your letters fit the spaces. So that seems to be all the ones I've marked. Let me just check the ones at the top, make sure I haven't. Something tells me I have another place where I have written in the spaces between. Yeah, there it is there. So this again is a paintbrush exercise where you can either draw these lines just with a pencil. You can draw them and try. Yes, if I've gone up with that one, then I'll try and go down and make the lines more inconsistent. And then you fill that space in with text. I just chose not to draw a black line here. I chose to use my flat paintbrush again. Okay, so those are 10 ways that you can create writing lines for your journaling, whether it's art journaling or junk journaling. Thank you for watching.